My name is Norabel, and I always thought I knew what love was. But I was wrong. I grew up in a small, quiet town nestled between rolling hills and endless fields of wildflowers. My childhood was simple but lonely. My parents had passed away when I was young, leaving me in the care of my grandmother, who loved me dearly but was frail and sickly. The townspeople were kind, yet I always felt like a shadow among them, unnoticed and invisible. I spent my days working at the small bakery my grandmother left me. The scent of fresh bread, the warmth of the oven, and the gentle hum of customers talking were my companions. I lived quietly, never daring to dream too much, because dreams, I believed, were fragile things, easily broken. One rainy afternoon, while I was closing the bakery, a stranger appeared. He was soaked, shivering, yet carried a kind smile that reached his eyes. He introduced himself as James, a traveler who had lost his way in the storm. I offered him a warm cup of tea and some bread. As he spoke, I noticed a depth in his eyes. There was sadness there, a story hidden behind his gentle demeanor. He spoke of places I had never seen, of cities that sparkled and mountains that touched the sky. I listened, captivated, as if the world beyond my small town had finally entered my quiet life. Days turned into weeks. James stayed in the town, helping me at the bakery. We laughed, we shared stories, and slowly a bond began to form. His presence was like sunlight breaking through the clouds, melting the ice around my lonely heart. But as my feelings grew, so did my fear. I had loved and lost in ways I could not explain. Could I risk my heart again? One evening, as the sun dipped below the hills, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, James took my hand. His touch was warm, comforting. "Norabel," he whispered, "I've never met anyone like you. You've changed me. I feel alive because of you." Tears welled up in my eyes. I had never felt so seen, so understood. I leaned into him, allowing myself to feel a happiness I thought I didn't deserve. But even in that moment, a shadow lingered, a secret he had yet to reveal. James had a past he couldn't escape. One stormy night, as the wind howled outside, he finally confessed. "I'm not just a traveler, Norabel," he said, his voice trembling. "I'm running from a life I thought I wanted, but it brought only pain. I lost someone I loved, and I've been carrying the guilt ever since." My heart ached for him. Pain was etched into every word, every glance. I wanted to comfort him, to tell him that the past did not define him, that he could find peace. "I can't stay here forever," he added, a tear rolling down his cheek. "Someday I'll have to leave, and I can't ask you to wait for me." But love, I realized, wasn't about promises or timelines. It was about the present, the warmth of a hand held, the comfort of a shared silence, the courage to face sorrow together. We embraced, holding each other tightly, knowing that even if tomorrow came with heartbreak, today was ours. The following months were blissful yet tinged with uncertainty. James helped transform the bakery into a thriving little haven. Customers came not only for bread, but for the warmth and laughter that radiated from us. But happiness is never simple. One morning, a letter arrived for James, a reminder of the life he had left behind. It was from the woman he had lost, the love he had once betrayed. She wanted to meet. Fear gripped me. Was our love just a fleeting moment? Could it survive the shadows of his past? James looked at me, eyes filled with guilt and determination. "I need to face this, Norabel, but I don't want to lose you. Please wait for me." I nodded, my heart heavy yet trusting. Love, I realized, was not just joy, It was courage, patience, and forgiveness. Days turned into weeks, but James's absence weighed heavily on my heart. Every morning I opened the bakery, I half expected him to appear with that familiar smile. Yet he never came. I kept busy with the flour, the dough, the rising bread, but my thoughts always wandered to him. Finally, one evening, James returned. But something had changed. His eyes were heavy with sorrow, his usually bright smile now faint, almost forced. "Norabel," he said softly, "I met her. Hi." I needed to say goodbye properly, to close that chapter, but it didn't feel right, not without you knowing everything. My heart raced. Fear and hope battled inside me. And I asked, my voice trembling. He sank into a chair, covering his face with his hands. She tried to pull me back, to make me feel obligated to a life I don't belong to anymore. I resisted. I couldn't do it. Not because I didn't care, but because I love you. Relief washed over me, and yet a new worry emerged. Could our love survive the weight of the past? Could it withstand the doubts that lingered in both our hearts? For weeks, our days were full of joy and laughter again, yet nights were heavy with silence. Sometimes I caught him staring out the window, lost in thought. One night, under the starlit sky, I asked him, "James, are you truly free from her?" He took my hands in his, holding them like a lifeline. "Norabel, I am. I've left all that behind. The only life I want now is with you." I wanted to believe him with all my heart, and slowly the shadows that had haunted us began to fade. Our love, tested by fear and uncertainty, was stronger than ever. But life, as it often does, had one more trial in store for us. For a few months, life seemed almost perfect. James and I had grown closer than I ever imagined possible. Our days were filled with laughter, baking, and quiet moments where words were unnecessary, just the comfort of being together. But fate has a way of testing even the strongest love. One morning, as the bakery opened, a man arrived, dressed in a sharp suit, his eyes cold and calculating. He carried a letter addressed to James. "Norabel, I have to handle this," James said, recognizing the man immediately. His hands trembled slightly, though he tried to hide it. I watched silently, fear gnawing at my chest. I knew this was a ghost from his past, the life he thought he had left behind. Hours later, James returned, pale and shaken. They're threatening me, Norabel. If I don't return, they'll ruin everything I've built. They want to take me back, to control me. I don't know what to do." I felt panic rise, my heart aching for him. "James, we'll face this together. Whatever it is, we'll fight it. I'm not letting you go." But fate wasn't done. The next day, a fire broke out near the bakery. Smoke filled the air and chaos erupted. James ran inside to save some of the bread and flour sacks. I followed him, but in the confusion, he slipped and hit his head on a falling beam. Time seemed to stop. I held him in my arms, tears streaming down my face. He was unconscious, his breathing shallow. "James, wake up, please," I whispered, my voice cracking with desperation. Hours later, he opened his eyes. "Norabel," he murmured weakly, a faint smile on his lips. I'm still here. Because of you." We cried together, the fear and uncertainty melting into relief. That night, under the quiet sky, James held me tightly. "I promise, Norabel. Nothing in the world can separate us. Not threats, not fire, not even past. I choose you, always you. I whispered back, and I choose you, James, forever. From that moment, I realized that love isn't about avoiding pain or trials. It's about holding on, even when the world tries to tear you apart. Our hearts have been tested, and we had survived stronger and more connected than ever. Weeks passed, and the bakery thrived more than ever. James and I built not just a business, but a life together. We laughed, cried, dreamed, and faced the world as a team. One evening, as the sun set, painting the sky with shades of pink and gold, James took my hand. "Norabel," he said softly, "I don't need a perfect life, just you by my side. You are my home, my happiness, my heart." I smiled through tears. "And you are mine, James, always mine." We kissed under the fading sunlight, the town quiet around us, the fields of wildflowers swaying gently in the breeze. Love, I realized, was not just about joy or passion. It was about surviving storms together, facing fear and loss, and still choosing each other every single day. And in that moment, I knew with absolute certainty I had found true love. Sadness, struggle, fear, and heartbreak had led me here, to this one beautiful, perfect truth. Thank you so much for watching Found True Love. If this story touched your heart, made you cry, or made you believe in love again, don't forget to support this channel. Comment your feelings about James and Norabel. Subscribe for more emotional love stories. Share this story with someone you love. Your support helps this channel grow and brings more beautiful stories to life. Remember, true love is not perfect. It goes through pain, distance, and sacrifice. But in the end, it always finds its way back. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.